Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're headed over to the older section of the raised bed garden where we keep our wood raised beds and our half barrel planters. Now you've seen us talk about those before, but they were some vegetable oil 55-gallon barrels, and we cut them in half, scrubbed them out, cut some drainage holes in the bottom of them, and we put them to use. So guys, we're gonna get over there and see what we can get into, guys. Just come on along. Alrighty guys, we're over here in the older raised bed garden. These are our wooden boxes and stuff, but today we're going to be focusing on the two half barrel planters there, and we're going to be planting basil. So we use a lot of basil in our making pesto and in our spaghetti sauces and stuff, so we're going to use two of these half white barrels to do it. And we've got them, we went ahead, pulled any of the weeds that were in there out. We've got the ground leveled out, but we're going to put in a layer of topsoil or a layer of super soil. So let us get that done, and then we'll bring you right back and show you what we'll do next. Alrighty guys, we've got our super soil added to the barrels now. What we need to do, we get it broke up a little bit, and we'll get it leveled out in the beds, and we'll be about ready to plant. There's not a whole lot to planting basil, but we want to put down some good loose soil for them. And we're going to add a little bit of fertilizer to them here in a minute, but first thing, we just get this super soil spread on there, get the beds topped off a little bit better than they were. They'll sink every year as the organics break down in the soil that's below it, so we just keep adding to the top, and it keeps the nutrients and stuff towards the surface where we want them.
You should tell them about these half barrels.
Tell them about the half barrels?
Yeah.
What do you want to tell them? Let me get you straightened around here.
No, it's the food grade oil barrels.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, when we first bought these barrels, they were full of, they're food grade plastic, and they were full of vegetable oil, is what it was. But we got them washed out, and we rinsed them down with baking soda, give them a good scrub, and we've been using them now how many years?
Wow. At least 4 or 5.
At least 4 or 5. These went in after the wooden raised beds. We had room in between the beds that we wanted to put to use, so there was a couple up the street that was selling them. We bought them and cut them in half, cut some drainage in the bottom of them, and they've done really well. You've seen us grow in those in the past, but we're going to go ahead. We'll poke some holes in the surface here for basil. You want a spacing of what, a couple of inches?
Yeah, they don't have to be terribly far apart.
Yeah, they don't have to be far apart, but put them in a couple inches apart. And then we bought pelleted seeds for it. I'll have Tina show you those before she starts planting. But you can see she's going into about her first knuckle. You plant those about, like I said, about 2 inches apart, maybe somewhere between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch deep.
And basil isn't very particular.
Yeah, and basil isn't really particular. We have never had trouble growing basil here. We could probably just throw it down in the grass here between the planters and it would probably come up. So after we get them planted, we'll go ahead and we'll cover them up, and then we'll put a little bit of fertilizer on them, but they probably don't even need it. The super soil's got a lot of nutrients in it itself already, but never hurts to give them a little extra kick. We must have got the super soil from 2 different sides of the pile. It looks almost different colored, the 2 barrels.
The top was dried.
The top was dried of the pile.
Yeah.
But guys, you wouldn't believe how much basil those 2 little planters will put off. And basil is one of those nice plants that you can keep trimming off of it and it'll keep growing. So as long as you don't let it go to flower or seed, it'll keep producing all the way into fall. So then when you get to fall, actually basil, you can cut the stems off of it and put them in water and they'll root, and you can grow them as an indoor plant. But let Tina show you these pelleted seeds real quick. Let's see, put them right about, there you go. They're just the white clay pelleted seeds. We'll probably just go 1 to a hole this time. But what's the germination rate on those? Does it say on there?
94%.
94%. We get our pelleted seeds from Johnny Seeds, and they're real good about putting the germination rate on them. And it's nice, they're not a seed reseller. They work directly with their seed producers, and they do their own testing for each lot. So you get a better idea what your actual germination rate will be at a 90% or 90, what do you say, 94? Yeah, there's no reason to double plant these if 94% of them are going to come up anyway. So the pelleting, the clay on the seeds, helps give the seeds good soil contact. When that clay gets wet, it sticks all over the surface of the seed, gives you good, like I said, good soil contact. That probably helps with the germination rate too. I know it's a problem with a lot of seeds. You got to go through, and to get soil contact, you've got to, sorry, we're having a typhoon here. But a lot of seeds you've got to go through and pack the ground down to get soil contact, and that just stresses the seedlings. So, nice thing about pelleted seed is you don't have to, you can just brush the soil over them. They'll have good soil contact anyway. But not too hard to grow basil.
No.
If I remember right, it seems to come up pretty fast too. It doesn't take very long.
No, it won't take terribly long.
When it comes up, it'll look like we planted grass in these things. They'll be so thick with starch. I believe this is a Genovese basil.
Yeah.
There's all different kinds, but is that pretty much it for the planting?
Yeah.
All right.
Put them up and put some fertilizer on.
We'll get them covered up here, and we'll throw some fertilizer on them. You see our strawberries back here in the back bed are just starting to come up. But we're going to be using the same Job's fertilizer that you've seen us use in several of the other beds. It's pretty well balanced. It's a 274. It's a 2% nitrogen, 7% phosphorus, and a 4% potash. But it's just a really well balanced fertilizer. We really like using it. There you go. If you want to try to find it at the big box store, that's what it looks like. But we told you before, we're dumb and we tore holes in the bag. So now we have it in a bucket. We like to keep the nutrients up at the top of the soil. They said the watering and the rain and stuff will rinse them down well beyond what the plants can reach. So we start them out on top. It's worked real well for us over the years. I know a lot of people do it differently, but this is just what works for us. So guys, we'll go ahead, we'll get the hose run back here, we'll get these watered in, we'll bring you back to show you that. Alrighty guys, I'm about finished with these here. We're getting ready to water them in, but what you got there, T?
My tags.
You got your tags?
Yeah, those are the ones that I cut out of the milk carton.
Cut out of the milk carton?
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and get these tagged. A lot of times when seedlings and stuff are small, they all start to look the same. So it helps to have tags in them, especially when we're going to be planting several things that are similar. But this is the basil. Tina's over here taking a shower.
I washed my feet. They're muddy.
She's washing her feet. All right, well, water these in so we can get done with this video. We're getting into a cycle now where we'll be watering in the mornings, but we want to make sure it's getting on towards evening now, and we have a thunderstorm coming, so we're going to water anyway just to get them started.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything you want to tell them about basil before we go?
It's delicious.
It's delicious?
Yes.
And it makes good pesto?
Yes.
And good spaghetti sauce?
Yes.
All right, guys. That's going to be it for the basil. Alrighty guys, that's about going to wrap it up for the basil video today. Sorry, we've been having a good time out here in the garden planting and stuff, and Tina's got a terrible case of the giggles.
Yeah.
I am not tickling her. But guys, we had a great time planting the basil, and like I said, that's one of the plants that you can trim off of, and it'll just keep coming. Just don't ever cut more than half of it off, And even if it starts to go to flower, you can still cut the tops off and it'll start back over again. And if you'd like to take basil indoors over the winter, then you can cut you a sprig of it and throw it in water. It'll root in water, and then you can plant it in the house and have fresh basil over the winter too. But guys, thank you for spending your time with us. If you like the content here on the channel, please subscribe, and ring down next to the subscribe button. There's a bell. And sorry, we've been working at just scatterbrain, but guys, if you hit that bell, that'll help you keep up with the channel, and that's a great way to follow along with the series and whatever in the world Tina's up to that day. But if you liked the video today, please give it a thumbs up, and leave us any questions or comments down below. We try to get to all of them, and if we don't know the answer, guys, we'll find you one. So guys, we had a great time today. We hope you enjoyed spending time with us, and we'll catch you in the next one.